Hi, friends. My name is Priscilla Keresey, and I teach a seminar called Getting What You Want Out of Life. In this video and in the next 4 short videos, I'm going to summarize for you what we learn in this course. Getting what you want out of life is something we are all striving for, whether we want to admit it or not. So let's just come right out and admit it. Let's come right out and say it. I want certain things in life. I'm sure you do too. I want prosperity, health, love, respect, freedom, meaningful work, a sense of purpose. We all want something more than we have. And that's natural. That's because we're evolving. If anyone ever told you, oh, you're never satisfied, well, congratulations, you've come to the right place. Here's the secret that other people don't know. Getting what you want out of life isn't selfish. It's fulfilling our desire for self-expression. We can't help it. It's our quest for life. Now, I believe that there are 4 vital elements to getting what you want out of life. And if you think about your end goal as a picture, just think of it like a picture you can look at, just an image you can look at, whether that's financial freedom, a challenging career track, more time with your kids, whatever it is. And think of this picture actually like a jigsaw puzzle. And there are 4 pieces, 4 interlocking pieces that individually are only a quarter of that picture. So we have these 4 pieces and they're interlocking and they build and create the underpinning for the complete picture of what you want in life. These 4, if you think of these 4 separate puzzle pieces as 4 individual elements, we have healthy self-esteem as one of them, a sense of serenity or peace of mind as the second, trust in your own validation of your own intuition, and the 4th one would be what I call spiritual curiosity. So your picture would be incomplete without all 4 of these in place, and all 4 of them in place complete themselves. Think about that saying, the sum is greater than the total of the parts. This applies here. Having a solid self-esteem alone might be enough for the average person. Having confidence in your intuition but low self-esteem may also be enough for the average person. Having peace of mind but no sense of higher energy or self-esteem to express your intuition and what it strives for is great, but without all the pieces in place, prosperity, abundance, love, whatever your goal is, it's not going to be reliable and sustainable. So again, we have these 4: healthy self-esteem, trust in and the validating use of your own intuition or ESP, peace of mind, and spiritual curiosity. It's important to have all 4 of these interlocking pieces in order to begin not just getting what you want, but diving really deep and discovering what it is you want in the first place. Because even if one piece is missing or crammed in backwards, it disrupts the coherent whole. In this and in the next 4 short videos, I'll review what we discussed, and you can reinvigorate that incredible power and agency that you have right now. So let's start with understanding the power of your mind, because really that's all you've got. That's all you'll ever have, and in truth, it's all you'll ever need. Because through your mind, you perceive and create. And as you understand this power, you are immediately able to identify what doesn't serve you. Then you can eliminate it, you can define what does, and introduce that in greater measures. Because the bottom line is there are far fewer random drivers of our destiny than you might think. So let's just briefly break down how the mind works. The conscious mind takes in information from your 5 senses. It relies on input from the world, about the world around you, to make logical decisions, to rationalize, to analyze, and to solve problems. We call this mind objective because what it can see, hear, smell, touch, and taste can also be seen, heard, smelled, touched, and tasted by others. It is generally considered to be where our conscious awareness is. That's the conscious mind. The unconscious or subconscious mind is comprised of the non-logical stuff, like dreams, beliefs, imagination, habits, desires, memories, and other subjective material. And we call this part of the mind subjective because what you experience there cannot be seen, heard, smelled, touched, tasted, or experienced by anybody else. Everyone has a subjective mind, and everyone has a rich inner world of imagination, desires, memories, dreams, and beliefs, but you can't experience theirs, and they can't experience yours. That's why 2 people can witness the same accident, let's say, but have completely different memories of what happened. Both are real, and neither are the sole correct answer. Within this unconscious mind of yours are all of those four puzzle pieces I talked about earlier. Your beliefs about everything are within your own subjective space. Therefore, your self-esteem, your belief about yourself, is something only you can experience. No one else can. Your intuition, your ESP, that's the textbook definition of non-rational. But when you've had a feeling, it's as real as anything in the objective, observable world, even though no one else can experience your ESP with you. They all have their own, but we cannot share a vision in the mind's eye the way we can look at a tree together. Peace of mind, quiet serenity, erasing all those old voices or tapes that play in your mind. That's a uniquely personal experience that can only be understood and interpreted within your own unconscious mind. And finally, that fourth one, spiritual curiosity, exploring a higher power, spirit guides, your own higher self, calling you to something greater. We can never prove in the objective world that this power or source exists. And if you struggle with the word spiritual, I get it. For some of us, that is a loaded word. So, you can use the word life force if that helps, or the collective, or higher consciousness, whatever fits in with you that doesn't trigger or re-stimulate feelings of that you might have connected with that. Now, we need both parts of the mind to function equally in order to understand how to get what we want out of life. And this is the best way that I know how to put it. What's in your unconscious mind strives to be expressed, whether that's pain, desire, sexual identity, creative pursuits. And the only way that we have any control over how that happens is if we allow our conscious thinking, rational minds to accept, process, and express the very thing it rebels against, the non-rational stuff. Remember, as far as your conscious mind is concerned, reality is only what can be seen, heard, smelled, felt, and tasted in the physical world. That's why we can even be so dismissive of our own intuition, our own dreams, and our own sense of self-worth. The rational mind just says, oh, you're making that up, because it can't experience it objectively. We have to teach our rigid, rational minds to loosen up a little, because once we can allow that subjective self-expression, we can begin to create those desires out of the non-rational world and put them into the real world. How do we do that? By intentionally developing and paying attention to our self-esteem. Here we go again, our self-esteem, our intuition, our serenity, and a working relationship with a wiser part of our mind, that spiritual curiosity, as I call it. The channel we activate and use in order to let the two parts of the mind communicate with each other, that's our perception. We perceive both from what we experience in the physical world through our conscious minds and what we understand about ourselves in our deeper being, our beliefs, our self-regard, our imagination, and all the power that comes with it. We have so many perceptions in place that are so old and so habitual, we don't even know that we have them. So I challenge you to see whatever comes first, whatever comes to mind, the first thing that comes to mind when I ask you the following. I'm just going to ask you how you perceive 5 things. And without overthinking it, what's the first thing that comes to mind? So let's start with the first one. How do you perceive people who have money? What about perceiving your parents? How do you perceive getting older? And what are your perceptions of the opposite sex? And last one, how do you perceive your own past experience up until this point? Regardless of your answers to these prompts, I'd like you to recognize that these perceptions are, in fact, choices. And those choices, and therefore those perceptions, aren't just interpretations of the past or responses to the present. They're definitions of your future. Your mind is so powerful. What you choose to perceive, to focus on, to pay attention to, may feel simply that you're observing your yesterdays and your todays, but that extraordinary mind of yours and its perceptual power is projecting those observations forward into the future and shaping it to be the continuation of those yesterdays and todays. This may be the hardest part of understanding how to get what you want out of life, so I'll just say it as simply and as clearly as I can. You are going to get what you repeat to yourself. It's that simple. You are going to extend your experience of whatever it is you're paying attention to, because attention equals attraction, and because attention equals creation. If you want to get something different out of life than what you're experiencing right now, you need to acknowledge, first of all, that it's out of whack, and then choose to perceive a different future. Stop paying attention to what's wrong. Stop dwelling on it. This is much easier said than done. Believe me, I know. But it's the key first step. And if you skip it, progress will take much, much longer. So join me in the next video. We'll continue.